Man, what a finish between the 2 seed Washington and the 3 seed Texas. Of course, the whole game overall was great. I mean, and the final score was 37-31. And Washington was up 9 in this game with 2 minutes 40 seconds left. Texas took an 8-play 68-yard drive with a minute 31 left in the game when they scored a field goal. Obviously, Texas did an onside kick, and they had to at that point in order to get the ball back quickly. And we know that Washington just ran the ball 3 straight times, but unfortunately on a third down play by Dylan Johnson, when he had no game on the play, he got hurt. Thus, the clock had to stop, and it would not have been a runoff because Texas elected not to do it. Well, they needed all the time they could get to get the ball back and more time on the clock instead of less time. There was a false start on Washington on the punt. Then they punt the ball, and it was only for 28 yards, and it was fair caught by Jordan Winton. However, at 16-yard line, there was catch interference against Washington, which made Texas start the drive at the 31-yard line instead of the 16. That makes a difference because at that point you don't need to commit penalties like that to give them more yards than they needed. Okay. The first 2 plays were incomplete passes to Javion Sanders. Then 3rd down and 10, Quinn Ewers completed a pass to Jordan Winton for 41 yards to get to the Washington 28. And that was with 20 seconds left. There was an incomplete pass to Donnie Mitchell, which he had a touchdown earlier in the game. Timeout Washington. And Quinn Ewers did a completed pass to Jalen Blue for 16 yards to get to the Washington 12, and Washington called their last timeout with 12 seconds left, and neither team had a timeout at that point. Neither team did. Quinn Ewers did complete a pass to Jalen Blue for a loss of 1 yard. So they're at the 13 now. Incomplete pass to Donnie Mitchell. And Quinn Ewers, fortunately, threw an incomplete pass with 1 second left in the game. But I thought his knee might have been down. Maybe they could have reviewed that. I don't know. And Quinn Ewers had one last chance with the football. He threw it to Donnie Mitchell, but the defender knocked it out of the Donnie Mitchell's hands to go out of bounds. The ball go out of bounds. Thus, Washington won the football game, 37-31. And now I'm going to go over the stats, and I'm going to preface this as I know not everybody cares for the stats or stats period. I just want to go over it for those who want to know. First of all, Texas had 23 first downs. Washington had 25. Technically, if Washington would have got one more first down, the game was done. 4 for 11 on 3rd down for Texas. 3 for 11 for 3rd down for Washington. 0 for 1 for Texas. 1 for 2 for Washington. Total yards, 498 for Texas, but 532 for Washington. 318 yards passing on 24 completions out of 43 attempts. But 430 yards on 29 completions out of 39 attempts. Well, I kind of knew Washington was going to give up that many yards, though. At one point, Quinn Ewers had below 100 yards passing. Or below 150, for sure. It ramped up, obviously, as we all know. Rushing yards, Texas had 180 on 28 rushing attempts. Washington had 102 on 31 attempts. I knew Washington could still win the game despite not being that great on the ground. and they did enough. I mean, but Texas 10 penalties for 66 yards, and Washington had 5 penalties for 39 yards. 2 fumbles for Texas, which Washington only converted 3 points. It could have been more, but I'm just saying. And Texas had forced a fumble, or it was a muff punt at the time, actually, by Washington, which led Texas to 7 points in the game. But time of possession, 23 minutes, 40 seconds for Texas, and 36 minutes, 20 seconds for Washington. Yeah, in that third quarter, Washington controlled the clock a lot. I mean, 5 plays for Texas, I believe. I could be wrong, but either way, less than 10 plays. Now, defensively, as we all, and Texas did not get a single sack in this game. But Michael Penix, he eluded the pressure at times, and yes, his offensive line helped too. But you know, when you don't get a sack, it hurts. And you only had 3 tackles for loss, Texas. And in Washington, you have 5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. And I get Texas had more tackles, 65 and total tackles, and 37 of those were just solo. And 59 tackles for Washington, and 35 of those were solo. And Texas finishes the season with 12 wins and 2 losses, and 2 one-possession losses at that. You rose up from last year to this year, Texas. I give you credit. And you won the Big 12 title on the way out. Now, can you continue your success in the SEC? That remains to be seen. And you got to do that not just only for next year either. You got to do it for the next couple of years, at least 2 to 4 years to prove yourself that you're really back this time. Because remember, the last time you said Texas is back, they ended up sending 5 the next year. Or even that Notre Dame game that you won in 2016. Yeah, that you were not really back either. We don't want to be I don't want to be preemptive and say they're back for sure. We will see how their roster shakes out, because they're going to lose some NFL guys, as we all know. In Washington, you're now 14-0, unbeaten, and you were an underdog in this game for the 2nd straight time, and you still won. And for the record, I picked Washington, but I thought the score would be like 41-35. I was close. It's hard to get exactly right on the nose on the score, you know. Even though I did that Michigan game correctly in all this, in terms of who's going to win and how, and right exactly on the score. And we know the game will be in Houston, Texas for the national championship presented by AT&T against the 1 seed Michigan. Michigan's currently favored by 4.5, but I'll do the preview of that game later on this week. And I need some time anyway to think about who am I really going to pick. Because I can't go against the Washington offense, especially Michael Penix. He torched Texas up. And the Washington O-line did their job. And yes, Michael Penix eluded the pressure. But I can't go against that Michigan defense. That's the thing. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 600 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So make money off this. Of course, like and view. Comment video really helps the YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Hit the notification bell as well. And I'm sure for all the Big 12 fans that are not Texas or not Oklahoma, it's only fitting that both of those teams lost their last game as part of the conference in football. I'm just telling the truth about this, and you could say all you want about the officiating. It was questionable both sides. Washington made enough plays to win in Texas. You didn't. Point blank.